like a good half of this program is going to just be the dynamic between the two of us.
I suppose that's actually a good thing. Good way to think of it. Good way to think of it.
Yeah.
So, I read the entire 14 pages of the Green New Deal last night out of spite to someone.
Oh, did you? I read the House resolution relating to it this morning.
How'd that go?
It seemed honestly really anodyne.
Anodyne?
Like, harmless.
Harmless? Yes. That's basically that's basically what I figured out. I read the entire 14 pages of spite because someone, like, challenged me on it and bitched at me. And then I read it and it was like, what the fuck is everyone going crazy about? It's the most milquetoast bullshit fucking thing I've ever read in my life.
Yeah.
There are no specifics. It's the biggest, vaguest fucking description of the concept of maybe we should do some things.
It's literally, we, the writers of this document, demand that the House demand that the U.S. government as a whole commit to this list of goals.
Yeah. With zero mention of how any of these goals will be accomplished.
There's no specifics.
None.
There's no policy proposals.
None.
There's a lot of language about, like, inclusion and including minorities and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like how it's like, it's half about climate change and the other half is literally about economics. And because that's what it's being pushed as, a new economic stimulus plan.
Green
New
Deal. Yeah.
FDR would be proud.
It's the New Deal for the 21st century.
And it's got a lot of really good goals. I'm enjoying the goals, but the fact that I'm sitting here watching people try to argue that, we can't adopt it because it doesn't mention
cow farts come from.
Oh my god. The thing about cow farts came from a specific passage in the Green New Deal where it says, we will work with ranchers to find better ways to, like, do things that's better for the environment. That's literally it. Which, then, I will tell you exactly where more cow... This is the source of several different things that you see out there. A GOP person then came out and was like, they're going to take away our cows. And they're also, during the same interview with that person, they also talked about how the Green New Deal's trying to get rid of airplanes. For some reason. Those are the sources of that whole airplane debate argument.
Honestly, the only thing specifically related to transportation that I saw in the House resolution was develop high-speed rail.
Yeah. It's just like, hey, we should develop high-speed rail and bolster
nothing...
the concept of public transportation with clean energy sources.
Like, these conservatives are just reading all kinds of crazy stuff into this that it's like,
well, it's literally the
there's
strategy.
no policy proposals here. You're just trying to muddy the water before there are even any policies proposed.
Exactly. I mean, it's strategy. You muddy the water. You tell everyone this thing is of the devil. And no one's ever actually going to go and read 14 pages of legalese.
You're constructing a straw man and then poisoning the well with it.
Yes. It is. It is fantastic. And it's just... I expect better from people, like, as a whole. Especially, like, the kind of people I usually chat with and argue with. And I'm just like... See, when I argue with people, I fundamentally like to think people are being honest about what they know and what they have done. When someone tells me... Have you read the Green New Deal? Because I have, and it's got some crazy, terrible things in there, and I'm like, okay, I guess I have to go read... I take them at their word. So they read the Green New Deal. And then she starts arguing about how they want to get rid of airplanes and stuff, and I'm like, oh, wow, that must be in there, because she said she read the Green New Deal. I go read the Green New Deal, there is nothing about airplanes in there. And I'm like, okay, so the good news is, this person's a fucking liar. It's just like, what do we do with that?
Or not necessarily a liar, but... has been lied to.
Yes, there's that as well.
Like, maybe this person thought that they read the Green New Deal, but what they actually read was, like, a conservative think piece on the Green New Deal.
I have a feeling when most people say they've read the Green New Deal, what they mean is that they've read Twitter posts about the Green New Deal.
Oh, God. Twitter. The bane of our generation.
It's also, maybe. I mean, I don't think it's any worse than Facebook, though.
Facebook is the bane of the previous generation.
I guess. That's especially since it's been adopted by the previous generation.
Yeah,
more than they came to us.
Facebook is what has made boomers into the obnoxious shits that they are.
Yeah.
Well, that's not quite true. Boomers were already obnoxious shit. What Facebook did was give them a judgment-free zone in which they could be obnoxious shits with no consequences.
Yeah, and they call us the snowflakes.
Yeah.
We need to bring back dueling. Just saying, no one talks shit when you can just challenge them to a duel for the honor, and if you say no to the duel, then no one has to listen to you anymore because they know you're a bitch.
None of this pansy-ass pistols at 10 paces shit. No. Broadswords.
Broadswords. 100%.
Yeah.
Pistols still make it way too easy.
If it's not a Vihonda, I don't want to be involved.
I'd murder some people with a sword. I can see that. I can enjoy it.
I want to see the fear in their eyes.
Yes. Yes.
Not to sound too vicious, but there's some people who just irritate the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Actually, when I brought that up the other day,
Yeah.
The reason I brought it up was because here in Fairbanks, the city council was debating a law to institute housing and employment non-discrimination.
Yes.
For LGBT people in the Fairbanks area.
1693, right?
Yes.
1693.
And it was passed.
Yes,
amended,
it was.
But passed.
Amended, but passed.
I'm sure that we'll probably end up looking at the specifics of that at some point. But
Yes.
that's not what...
That's not.
Before that, there is about a 2-3 hour comment period before the
It lasted
city council.
they started the meeting at 6 and it went to 10 somehow.
Yeah. And, holy shit, were there some nuclear takes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember I only hopped into that live stream around 9:30-ish, and I didn't pay too much close attention, but apparently at one point one of the ladies was like, I've been getting lots of emails from small business people saying that it'll hurt their business. And it's like, treating everyone equal will hurt your business somehow?
Good.
Fuck you, lady. And also...
Good.
Yeah, good.
Let it. Let your business wither and die.
Remember, it's always our fault, the people's fault, that my business is failing.
Yeah,
not because
it's
I'm
never
not
because
adopting
you're a bad
that
business person.
Yeah. Remember, the diamond industry is being killed by millennials. It's not dying because it's failing to adapt to the new market. We're killing it.
Yeah.
It all goes back.
Yeah, it's all a conspiracy, you see.
Well,
it's the gay millennial agenda.
Of course.
On our hit
problem
lists are small businesses and diamond dealers.
And Applebee's.
And Applebee's, of course.
Applebee's.
Well, to be fair, it's because Applebee's is shit.
Well, yeah. It's like, heaven forbid. And Hooters. Hooters is high on our list of things we're going to murder.
I'm okay with Hooters existing if there is equality between the sexes. And by that I mean I want to see men in Hooters.
Yes.
With bras.
And the hot pants.
And hot pants, yeah.
For me, the only thing that would make me go to Hooters is if they started having actual goddamn owls there. Just turn it into an American owl cafe.
Hell yeah.
It works so well in Japan. Fucking just put owls in Hooters. Suddenly your business is saved. Every millennial will care about going to you now.
I'm 100% for that.
Oh, yeah. But, so, the whole millennials are killing new businesses and all that jazz, it all goes back to the fact that America as a culture took a snapshot of itself in the 50s and said, this is it. This is what we've got.
You're right.
The 50s is what we have. Everything before that was building to the 50s, and this doesn't count, doesn't matter. And everything after the 50s, anything that changes from that point, is wrong. So, if it's the more we stray away from how the 50s world was, the more everything's wrong with the world, because it's not good anymore. So, but diamonds, big deal in the 50s, they were a big market, they exist in the 50s. The concept that we no longer want to buy diamonds doesn't sit well with American cultural ideal, because in the 50s we bought diamonds, and we're not doing that anymore. So we're doing something wrong. Because remember, the 50s was literally the best time for the United States, right?
It was the pinnacle.
Yes.
The end of history.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, Fukuyama.
Fucking end of history. Bullshit. Fuck. I remember having to I remember having to read that shit last semester in my fucking class about what history is and historiography. Fuck Foucault. Fucking end of history.
Yeah, he has since backpedaled a bit on that.
Yeah.
But frankly, it's not enough. Come the revolution, he should be first up against the wall.
Just saying, bring back dueling. Bring back dueling and challenge him.
I would challenge him in an instant. Holy shit.
Everyone needs to either nut up or shut up when you can be challenged to the death for what you say. It's a much better system. It keeps people in line.
Rule by the most willing to...
Yeah, most willing to risk their lives for what they say. Which,
You know
God
what?
damn it, it's what it should be.
You know what? That's very Hegelian of you.
Look, people can be elected to Congress without meaning a single word they fucking say. And I want to be able to walk up to a goddamn senator and say, hey, remember that shit you said on the floor last week? I fucking disagree with you on it, and I challenge you to a duel. And if you don't accept the duel, then you're going to be ridiculed, and no one's ever going to care about anything you guys say. Because everyone knows you're too cowardly to actually support what you say.
Yeah.
And you don't believe, so you fundamentally don't believe in what you say, so you're just a lying piece of shit, and hold no bearing on any conversation anymore. Or they could nut up, stab me with a goddamn sword in a duel, and then, go on a merry ways.
It's very, very Hegelian of you to say that, because Hegel's whole thing is you can't have self-consciousness without a struggle for life, a life and death struggle.
There you go.
It's like a reversion to the state of nature when it comes to sticking to your word. I like that.
Hell yeah. That would explain why millennials are so much more self-conscious. And more like...
Why? Because we care about what we say?
No, the Hegel thing. Because millennials...
Oh, because we're in a life and death struggle.
Because we're in a constant life and death struggle. Whereas the rich people aren't in a constant life and death struggle. So they don't have any self-awareness at all. Because why would they? They've never had to be in a life and death struggle.
They're stuck in the master phase of the master-slave dialectic. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That almost makes me pity them. Not enough to not want to pull out the guillotines.
Yes.
But it's almost.
Almost. Not quite enough. I'm just saying, take away all their money again, revert them back to having to have a life and death struggle for survival. I'm just saying, how about for the Hunger Games? Instead of guillotining them, we just toss them into the Hunger Games. Reverse Hunger Games.
Instead of picking out poor people to fight for our amusement, we pick out rich people to fight for our amusement.
Suddenly people will be, one, less interested in accruing enough wealth to be registered for the Hunger Games selection, and so they'll be actually using that money and circulating it through the economy. And two, you'll get to watch rich assholes kill each other.
Yeah.
Kill each other.
Well,
it's awesome.
You know what Zach Wienersmith's solution to wealth accumulation is, right?
What was that?
A uranium-232 based currency system. If you accumulate too much money, boom! Nuclear explosion.
Beautiful. It's perfect. Get rid of all this nonsense fucking electronic currency. Just make it so to have money, you physically have to hold an explosive ordnance with you. And if you get too much, boom.
Just lug around big bars of uranium.
It's perfect.
In lead-lined satchels.
Excellent. I fully support the concept. It would be so nice.
What were we talking about again? We were talking about...
dueling?
Before that.
Hooters?
Before that.
The 50s snapshot?
Before that.
Dude, how far back do you want to go? It's a conversation.
Well, we originally started talking about...
The Green New Deal? Theoretically. We started on the Green New Deal and kind of drifted.
Yeah.
Intellectual dishonesty when arguing about things.
That might be it. I don't know.
That's one of the things that we...
I just feel like we should have...
Foucault's end of history is bullshit, yada yada.
Maybe like one through line of the conversation. We should probably start writing this stuff down.
That'd be helpful, at least. No, but... So the Green New Deal, stop freaking out. This is my advice to anyone listening. Stop freaking the fuck out about the Green New Deal. Also, it's 14 pages double-spaced.
Wall.
Also, I probably shouldn't swear, but fuck you, FCC. Anyway, look.
Oh, come on, they let Rush Limbaugh on the air.
Right? Look.
I don't care if he swears or not. Not everything he says is an insult to life itself.
The Green New Deal is 14 pages double-spaced, large font. Go read it. It'll take you like 10, 15 minutes tops. Go read it, and
when
then
you
you
say
can
14
intellectually...
pages, you mean 14, like, front pages, right?
Front pages. Yeah, front pages.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
front and back. It's 14 pages to read.
That's like...
25 lines of text each page. That's it.
It's like 7 pages of a book.
Yeah. Just go read it, take 15 minutes, then you can have the intellectual superiority over everyone you ever talk to about it and feel good about yourselves and be snobby to people who haven't. Go do yourself a favor. Go feel good about yourself inside because you're more intellectually honest than other people.
Yeah, don't let people make you feel bad for having read a thing. Which, God, that is...
Is it a thing people do?
Yeah. Have you been paying attention to American politics?
I mean, I guess. The concept of being made to feel bad because I've actually read the law, though. Well,
Yeah, but it's like, it's not like read the law. It's like having an interest in reading the law makes you inherently snobby and an elite.
Right.
One of the effete West Coast elite.
Of course, yes. The West Coast elite who bothers actually reading the laws they try to pass into, you know.
Instead of going on things like, oh, I'd like to have a drink with him,
Mm-hmm.
or the blue-collar millionaire.
Fuck is
Throw
that?
up.
Look, I'm just going to say this right now. To any millionaires listening out there, surrender your wealth while you still can.
Don't
Just go to small businesses and randomly hand them massive amounts of money. Go tip
No.
someone $50,000. Surrender your wealth back to the masses. any
do
way you
that,
can.
but more than that, just pay your people better.
Yes, that too. Surrender your wealth back to your workers. That would also help.
Just figure out a way to reduce your income, and I'll be happy with that.
An easy way to do that is just give the income back to all the workers, so you don't get it as profit. But all your workers do.
Plus, it'll bring your tax bracket down.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that.
And now you don't have to pay as much in taxes, and you don't get to...
You'll be able
Yeah,
to fire
hold
that
on.
accountant.
Hold on, though. I mean, yeah, firing accountants is always nice. But the problem is, if they go down in a tax bracket, now they don't get to bitch about how high their taxes are anymore.
Oh no, the horror.
Look, man.
Cry more.
What else are you supposed to do on Twitter besides bitch about how high my taxes are?
Well, you could do like a certain U.S. senator did and quote Benito Mussolini.
Oh my god! Yes! The GOP is literally quoting fascists now. I mean, Trump's favorite bedside reading was already Mein Kampf. No, not Mein Kampf. A book of, like, Hitler's speeches.
Yeah.
It was already that, and now we have more of them literally quoting fascists. Do you remember the fucking quote? It was, like, the more complicated governments become, the less freedom and people have.
The more developed civilization becomes,
Yeah.
the less freedom people should have.
It was
Something like that.
No. It was more along the lines of the more complicated a governmental system is, the less freedom people have.
No.
Which doesn't. It was that.
No.
Look it up. I'm telling you. And to my version of it, at least, my basic response is a fucking court. I mean, first off, no, that's completely false because, like, you want to go back to, like, sure, let's go to the most simple form of government. A king ruling over his people. Bam, nice, simple. You got one king ruling over a city-state of people. Tell me again how much independence and freedom those people have to do whatever the fuck they want. Not a lot. Not a lot. It's almost like for people to have freedom, you have to have a somewhat complicated governmental system. A peasant sitting there farming all day does not have more freedom than we do. Just ask the Russian. Just ask all the people who keep revolting against their kings. Though I mean, I guess if you want to make the argument, sure, you're free to revolt.
Elliot, we were the first to assert that the more complicated the forms assumed by civilization, the more restricted the freedom of the individual must become. Benito Mussolini.
There we go.
So,
It's basically along the lines of what I said.
yeah, I can see the interpretation that way. The way I interpreted it was, in order to sustain complicated civilization, you've got to clamp down on individual rights.
Fair enough.
Which, obviously, I disagree with. I mean, if you know me.
Yeah, obviously.
God.
Funny little world we live in, ain't it?
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to fascist America. The revolution is imminent.
I wish I'd known I was living in the Weimar Republic.
Look on the bright side, buddy. We get to be the first Americans to throw a goddamn revolution. America hasn't had one of those yet. It's 200 years. We're long overdue. Especially in this modern age. Come on.
Oh, God.
How long has another modern country?
I would prefer,
without
honestly prefer, I come off real bloody-minded sometimes when I'm angry, but honestly I would prefer, like a nice peaceful revolution, if at all possible.
Look, we're not stockpiling guns so we can put flowers in them, alright?
I mean, it's not that I condemn violence exactly, it's just that I'd prefer to avoid it if I possibly could.
Nah, I give up on that. Peaceful revolutions never work. They just slide into fascism even faster. I mean, if we
I guess
start
it
off...
depends on what you mean by peaceful.
Well, yeah, there's always that. Like, how many shots have to be fired?
Like, I don't necessarily mean that, I think that, the proletariat and masses can descend on Washington, D.C. en masse and just, MLK march their way into revolution.
Yeah.
Gandhi's March to the Sea or whatever. I don't think that, but what I mean is that, a revolution without, descending into the Russian Civil War...
Okay.
Something without the complete breakdown of civil society?
I mean, I kind of want the complete breakdown of civil society, because then we get to rebuild from the ashes with whatever the fuck we want.
I mean, yeah, you can do that, but I find that a lot of times it's easier to just sort of... Rather than... burning all the swords and then trying to make plowshares from the ashes, why don't we just directly beat the swords into plowshares? You know what I mean?
I don't trust society to not be destroyed and then rebuilt on something. I don't trust society enough that it will just evolve into what we want it to be at all.
Why don't you just become a post-this?
It's all too established.
Why don't you just become a posadist and pray for nuclear war and a super intelligent socialist alien?
I mean, Apocalypse 2020, baby.
Come along and raise up the dolphins to teach us how to be socialists properly.
Oh my god, but the dolphins are assholes. I don't want to be taught shit by dolphins. Fucking filthy rapists of the ocean.
Oh god, yeah, I hate them. I don't believe their cute lies.
They're not even cute half the time. There's countless fucking videos of dolphins attempting to rape people. It's well documented. They don't just rape other dolphins, they rape people.
That's probably, in a weird way, kind of like evidence of their intelligence.
What? Sorry, what is it? Run that one by me again there, buddy-o.
That is to say that they are smart enough to kind of
know that people are shit?
No, generalize the idea of sexuality beyond pure mating.
I guess. I mean, yes, that would hint towards the concept of them having sex for pleasure rather than mating, and that sexuality...
I mean...
I guess?
To a certain extent, all animals have sex for pleasure.
Yeah. I mean,
if it wasn't pleasurable, they wouldn't do it.
That's why you have. That's why sex feels pleasurable. So you'll do it more often and have
but
fun with it.
Most of the times, evolution's pretty successful in sort of channeling that desire for pleasure into purely reproductive stuff.
Yeah, most of the time.
Most of the time. Most of the time. There's some obvious exceptions.
Bonobos. Humanity.
Penguins.
Yes. Dolphins.
Swans.
You know swans can be gay?
Yeah. like a majority of them are.
Yeah. And you can have,
Or at
like-
least prefer. Anyway.
Yeah.
This
Pretty great.
It's a little. It's good. Good discussion. Good discussion. Maybe a little off topic.
We got a little bit off topic. Look, on the right side, the GOP are just openly quoting fascists now.
Is that a right side though?
It's making more people notice that, oh wait, the GOP is just made up of fascists. They're kind of pulling the curtain out.
I mean,
like
you're
being
right.
Like, hey, we're actually fascists. We've been pretending for the last 200 years.
You're right, but also like, at what point does this become accelerationism? You know?
What are we accelerating towards?
Dystopia?
Excellent. We'll rebuild from the ashes of society.
God, what about all the people who will be hurt by this, though?
And the world's overpopulated.
No, it's not. You know it's not,
Okay,
asshole.
It's not at all. It's not even a little bit overpopulated. It's got plenty. We have plenty of ways to feed all the people. We just choose not to because money gets in the way.
You know for a fact that overpopulation is like this weird conservative thing about like.
Well, there's too many of there's too well the main overpopulation myth has obviously been spread by the conservatives specifically. So on the basis of the concept of there's so many goddamn proletariat that could overthrow us. We need to reduce population so there's less people to revolutionize.
We need to
us.
cull the peons so that
There
they
you
don't
go.
rise up against us.
Exactly. That's why every couple of years, if you run any good dictator knows, every couple of years, every generation or so, you enact terrible policies that lead to mass starvation amongst the populace to keep their population down.
Oh, Jesus.
Then there's not enough of them to challenge your power. Our hope, our society's problem is we stopped doing that, and we were like, what if we stopped letting people die in mass?
I feel like that's more likely to just lead to the remaining populace rising up and overthrowing your ass.
I don't know. It works for a solid 1,000-ish years.
Yeah.
The empires theoretically have done that. Typically, the kingdoms have lasted longer than our current system.
I guess you're right, but
we're 200 years into this America thing, and we're barely scraping by. We're on the cusp of collapse here.
yeah, but it's also pretty tempting to think that there's been a fundamental change in the nature of relations since the Industrial Revolution.
You mean like people's relationship to the government?
To the government and to production and also to force. Because there was a long period of time when warfare, that's weird as this is going to sound, warfare was an art, something you had to practice.
Yes.
And therefore the domain exclusively of a fairly restricted and privileged class. Thus the social stratification amongst the various pre-industrial civilization into ruling class, priestly class, warrior class, merchant class, laboring class.
Yeah, I can see that.
But since the Industrial Revolution, we've also industrialized war.
Yeah.
And, you still need a certain amount of training to go out and fight a war.
Theoretically.
Especially if you want to fight a big war.
Well, I don't know.
Because
Vietnam did
you'll-
well enough on its own. Vietnam did well enough.
But Vietnam was a fairly small war.
That's true. It was not a large-scale war,
Yeah.
and it wasn't. And it was pretty
And they
much
had-
and it was no. There was no invading of other countries.
Yeah,
it was
they had-
specifically home turf.
Yeah,
only
the terrain
defense.
advantage.
It was a purely defensive war, peasants with pitchforks can fight a purely defensive war fairly effectively.
Yeah. What you're talking about is, or what we're talking about, is essentially an army of the proletariat raising itself up and taking the fight to the currently existing armies.
No. We're taking the fight to the ruling class. The army will be on our side.
Will they?
I mean, from having served in the military, I say probably.
I don't doubt that a significant portion of the U.S. military for instance, would side with.
I mean, just ask all the soldiers that are currently on food stamps for some reason.
God, it's not a travesty. You know,
Mean it.
I do
Mean
have
it,
to
Jess.
say, if this keeps going, this austerity thing, we might end up with a situation where the majority of the army would defect. Just because, you know, you can't expect to maintain an empire if you don't pay your mercenaries.
Nope. It doesn't work. And on that note, I think we're going to end for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Have a good one. And remember, rise up against the bourgeoisie.
Oh my god, you're such a nerd.